Many people have a turning point in their lives, a moment in time when the world shifts and things are never quite the same. I had mine my junior year of high school. It was the day the justice system let police officer Mackenzie Mattingly walk free, even though he had shot Michael Newby in the back 3 times. Michael Newby was a young African-American man, 19 years old. He was running away when he was shot. Mackenzie Mattingly is a white police officer. He says he thought his life was threatened, and that's why he fired those shots. Michael Newby was just one of many brothers who ended up dead because they committed a petty crime. The day the jury said not guilty to Mackenzie Mattingly was the day that pushed many of us over the edge.
No justice. They don't want to talk to anybody. Black people beware.
When it comes to black people, justice is blind here in the city of Louisville.
I was just as mad as everyone else that day. The system had failed us. I could have broken windows, stolen a cop car, punched a cop. I didn't give a crap. I was furious. Michael was one of our own, and now he was dead. It all seemed so unfair. But Christopher 2X was able to stop us before we did things we would regret. He's been there for me ever since, and I look up to him. To understand my story, you will have to know where I come from.
I did my fair share of things. I was kind of mischievous, some would say. I think things can be unfair sometimes. The way your family conditions, the way you was raised, kind of does dictate how far you can go in life.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it?
That's Al Hearn. He was my Black Liberation Theology teacher at U of L. He led a group of us to Jena, Louisiana to protest against the way the Gen 6 youth had been treated. The Gen 6 are 6 high school-aged African Americans who sat underneath a tree that was proclaimed a whites-only tree. The next day, there were nooses hanging from the tree. A fight ensued, and one of the black guys used the shoe to fight, and the authorities called it a deadly weapon.
I'm very proud to be here today. I missed school for this, and it's always a cause for justice and peace, and that's what we're here doing today.
You know, before the day concludes, I think that the whole country and maybe even the whole world will see that things like this that in the past have gone unexamined, we're no longer willing or inclined to tolerate it.
No justice, no peace. No tuition increase. No tuition increase.
They were going to impose a 9% increase on the students of U of L. Once again, I was really angry and wanted to be a part of the protest to let people know how we felt.
People look at us as numbers, but if we show the fact that we are people and we stand together, there, we're not just numbers.
I'm here because of my 5-year-old son. I'm here because I know that in 13 years, when he graduates high school, he and other children like him may not be able to afford to go to college to get the education.
As I listened to that guy talk, I had to ask myself, what is the government good for? They don't seem to represent me. I look around and the housing market is collapsing, banks are failing, gas prices are insane. We're at a war that I do not support. When are we going to have a government that actually represents me and the people I care about? I decided to go back to my mentors and ask them what they thought. I wanted to know, is it really valuable to get involved like this? To protest, express our feelings? Does it really matter?
No, protest and everything else with the gender situation and all of that has its place. They turn up the volume on issues. You have to look at those situations in a mathematical and scientific way and say, what is the best measured approach that I could utilize to try to deal with these issues, keep these issues on the forefront, but at the same time understanding my limitations.
Then I decided to let go of my pessimism and go on faith. I got involved in Kids Voting, an organization that believes that voters are created when they're young. It offers opportunities for kids to practice voting. I think it is a great organization because I certainly never thought about voting when I was young. And I worked for the Obama campaign to get out the vote for the primary. Now more than ever, it's so important that African Americans get to the polls.
Voting is vitally important. It's like the first step along your path of political activism. And political activism comes at different levels for different people. So you casting a ballot is one way for someone to feel like, I just made a difference.
As I walked to the polls myself, I thought about how far I had come, from hitting licks to casting ballots. I believe that voting and being involved in my community really can make a difference. I'm not the same kid who raced downtown to the courthouse ready to riot. I still care about the same things. I still care about racial injustices, but I believe there's a different way to go about doing things. I'm a young black voter living in the United States of America. That's a powerful force.
In search of brighter days, I ride through the maze of the madness. Struggle is my address with pain and cracked lips. Gunshots coming from sounds of blackness. Given this game with no time to practice. Born on a blacklist. Told I'm below average. A life with no cabbage. That's no money if you from where I'm from.